And you've got someone like Javed Naqvi who's saying today on the program that you don't need a mosque there. You believe it's a bad idea?
I also want to say, I want to give you good news. I was talking to the Amir of Jamaat-e-Islami about the verdict here that is coming on the 24th of September, and he says the Muslims here will abide by the court verdict. That is a civilized way to go about it. That the Muslims in India, that's a very civilized thing. When the world is going into some kind of conflagration, I think there's something to be learned.
But is there fear and paranoia on both sides? Because US President Barack Obama in that press conference says the war is not with Islam but with terrorists, and that Americans must show greater tolerance. Let's listen in to Obama.
We're at war with terrorists and murderers who had perverted Islam, had stolen its banner to carry out their outrageous acts. And I was so proud of the country rallying around that idea, that notion, that we are not going to be divided by religion, we're not going to be divided by ethnicity, we are all Americans, we stand together against those who would try to do us harm. And that's what we've done over the last 9 years. And we should take great pride in that. And I think it is absolutely important now for the overwhelming majority of the American people to hang on to that thing that is best in us. A belief in religious tolerance, clarity about who our enemies are. Our enemies are Al-Qaeda and their allies who are trying to kill us, but have killed more Muslims than just about anybody on earth.
Our war is against terrorism, not against Islam. How will that register, you believe, Gautam Adhikari, the US President, making it very clear and categorical there that the war is against terrorism, not against Islam?
He is essentially saying what the previous President, George Bush, said right after 9/11, that the United States is not fighting a war against Islam, and Americans have nothing against Muslims, and certainly not against Muslim Americans who live here. Now, you must also understand, I think you appreciate the fact that there is a congressional election coming up in November. So the reason why this kind of thing has suddenly acquired center stage could be related to the fact that, there's an election coming up and Republicans find this to be a good cause.
Right.
To drum up public support and to drum up public anger against the Obama administration, and particularly the president himself. Okay. There is also a kind of story that goes around alleging that the president is Muslim himself and doesn't declare so. And almost 20% of them, 18% of Americans seem to believe that.
Do you believe, Casey, that makes the president a little defensive, both on the mosque issue and the pastor issue? The fact that he is Barack Hussein Obama, does that in a way at times make him a little defensive?
Republicans have been known for playing these games, the dirty games in the past, propaganda, appealing to subliminal feelings, really whipping up sentiments when they don't have an argument. Argument is really the economy, and that Obama is addressing now. But really they have to find a way, and I think I agree with him that the Muslim community must realize that they will get baited into this. They should show largeness of heart and say, let's not make an issue out of this. At this stage, it is not such a vital issue. Let it pass and then let it be resolved over a period of time.
Okay, let me also play what Obama has said about the pastor. President Obama in that press conference a short while ago has criticized the pastor who announced plans to burn the Quran. The US President claimed such an action put the lives of American soldiers in Afghanistan at risk. Listen in.
The idea that we would burn the sacred texts of someone else's religion is contrary to what this country stands for. It's contrary to what this nation was founded on. And my hope is that this individual prays on it and refrains from doing it. And although this may be one individual in Florida, part of my concern is to make sure that we don't start having a whole bunch of folks all across the country think this is the way to get attention.
Okay, the President making it very clear on the pastor issue. How is that playing out, Gautam Adhikari, now that the pastor has backed down? Is he just someone looking for cheap publicity?
Well, here, since you and I have both been in the media for so long, the role of the media also has to be taken into account. This pastor has exactly 35 followers in Florida. He is a total unknown who has suddenly become an international figure because of the media attention that he has been receiving because he offered to burn a Quran.
Right.
Or he suggested that he would burn a Quran and asked other people to do so. Now, he is actually a nobody who now is getting calls from Defense Secretary Gates. President Obama is addressing the issue in a press conference. So this is a dangerous trend that could come up, in democracies where the media has a free play.
Right.
And we in the media have to, I think, exercise some kind of judgment here. I'm not sure what we should do. But this is how the whole thing blew up. The guy is absolutely a nobody.
In a sense, it almost reminds you of what happens here, Javed Naqvi. There is always the loony element which will want to say something outrageous because they know the media will latch on to something outrageous.
Well, you have them. I mean, you have the Togadiyas and others who are completely in that category. And but we have dealt with them, I think, pretty well.
So should we completely ignore the pastor? He doesn't represent any sentiment within the United States today?
I think the pastor doesn't need political denunciations. Pastor needs psychiatric help. And I think what is really the prescription for the Americans to come do a good job along with the Muslims and be fair to them is to really look at the foreign policy and what they're doing abroad.
I'm going to give one final word to KC on this entire issue. Obama comes to India, of course, in a few weeks' time.